Hey guys, welcome back to Maelstrom Gaming. Today we are doing our first video on our Tactica series on the channel.
We'll be showcasing a unique combo from the Tyranid Codex, something we like to call the bulky Genestealer. Before we hop in, please like, subscribe, and share this video. It really helps out a small channel like us.
Let's get into it.
We're going to talk about the bulky Genestealer. What exactly makes a bulky Genestealer? What kind of upgrades we can do to further this? And we're going to, at the end, determine, is this a competitive option? Is it bad? Or is it just, something fun you can bring out here and there with your friends, not necessarily at a tournament?
Stay tuned to find out.
All right, so the base stats and strategy. So you start with your normal Genestealers like we have here. They are toughness 4, they have a 5-up armor save, and a 5-up invuln save, and just 1 wound per model. They're really known as the glass cannons for the Tyranids.
They come in at how many points base?
15 points right now, which is a little high. If you saw our tier ranking video, you know that was our big critique keeping them out of the top tiers, is because their points, we think, just 1 or 2 points too expensive.
Right.
Spoilers, you'll see later on in this that it only goes up from here, but yeah. So the key upgrades that we put on these bulky Genestealers is we're going to use the extended carapace upgrade. Normally with Genestealers, you wouldn't touch this thing. It gives them a 4+ armor save instead of their 5-up. And then they lose their swift and deadly rule, which is their built-in advance and charge.
Which is essentially kind of a big part of why you would ever want to use
It's a big deal because Genestealers, you play them as Kraken, and they can move 8, advance 3d6, pick the highest.
So generally at least 4 or more
4,
inches.
5, or 6, yeah. And then you Swarm Me to move another 8. Swarm Lord, yes. Use another 4 or 5, get another advance 4 or 5 or 6.
Right.
And then you can charge 2d6 on top of that.
So essentially what you're going for is the movement with Genestealers.
Yep, that's normally. But in this one, we're going to change that a little bit. We'll still be ways to get fast, but it's going to take a little more work. And so we take it from a 5-up to a 4-up armor save, and now we're going to use what you normally use on your warriors. We're going to put enhanced resistance on these guys. That allows them to ignore AP -1 and AP -2.
Which, if you played the game for any amount of time, you know is huge, especially in 9th edition.
AP -1, 2 is everywhere right now.
Yeah.
If you gave them the problem with the 4-up armor save before we had access to AP -1 and 2 ignoring, is that, great, you give them the 4-up armor save, now they have AP -1, then it's gone.
It kind of didn't really have much of an effect. Like, if they were going to get shot up, the 4-up save by itself isn't going to change much.
Yeah, ever since Bolters went to AP -1 with the tactical doctrine, then really a standard 4-up armor save is pretty bad.
Right. So the combo here is key, the 2 things that we're giving them.
Yep, so those are the base stats. Now, how to further boost this before we get into the details. So some ways to boost this. We're going to start out with a Broodlord. He is going to have the Resonance Barb. You could take 1 or 2 of them. I think 1 of them is fine because we only have access to 2 enhanced resistances, so you don't necessarily want 3 Genestealer blobs.
Right.
2 big 20-man blobs is going to be good. He will give you +1 to hit with the Genestealers, as well as being able to more consistently cast those key psychic powers.
Right.
The next buddy...
and he's also just good.
He's really good.
Broodlord's great.
Yep. The next buddy you want to include is the Swarm Lord. This is still going to give you access to that double move with Hive Commander. A key, especially since we're not being able to advance and charge consistently.
Huge.
Getting an extra 8-inch movement up the board will still give you a potential for turn 1 charges.
Right.
Now there are 4 or 3 key psychic powers to look into here. The first one is Onslaught. This will give them the ability to advance and charge again. It's only a one target, so you can't charge 2 of them a turn, but ideally all these powers are going to go on to one Genestealer. Yep, the one blob, you'll rush 1 up and give them all the buffs, and the second one will be a turn 2 charge or a turn 3 charge, a counter threat.
And going off of that, the next one would be Catalyst, which, as we're making a bulky Genestealer type, just makes them even bulkier, giving them a 5+ feel no pain.
Yep. Now, this is where it'll determine if you want to go Kraken or Behemoth.
Yeah.
If you want Behemoth, Unstoppable Hunger, +1 to wound. That's going to actually make them be pretty dangerous because now they're wounding toughness 4 things on 3s, toughness 3 on 2s, and actually they'll be wounding a lot of tanks on 4s,
Right.
which will be great.
Which is huge.
Other than that, you can try Synaptic Lure if you take Kraken. This is a really powerful one where there's no range to it. So you just pick a unit, and anything that charges that gets to reroll their charge to it.
I didn't actually know that. That's pretty cool.
I know, it's one of the few powers that doesn't have a range. And I thought when it first came out it was a typo.
Yeah.
Like they forgot the range, but no, it's
not.
Nothing there.
How it is.
So those are the models and powers. Now we're going to look, we already touched on it a little bit with the Psychic, but we have some Hive Fleet adaptations on how to change these here. Kraken, like we said, focus on mobility. 3d6, pick the highest for your advance, and fall back in charge. Now, you cannot advance in charge with these bulky Genestealers unless you get the Psychic power off.
Which is why we touched on Psychic powers first. It's kind of an important prerequisite to doing some of these things.
So the trick you'll have to do here is you will have to unless you want to gamble, only do a normal move on your first move. Then you put the Psychic power on them.
Right.
Then on your next move with Swarmy, you can move and advance.
Right.
You could gamble on advancing them the first time and then moving them and advancing them again and pray you get that power off. It's a Warp Charge 6. Plus, if you put the Relic Resonance Barb on your Broodlord, it's going off on a 5.
Right.
More times than not, you'll get it off. It might require a CP reroll, but I personally don't like the risk of it failing and then that squad is sitting dead in the water.
Right. And with the added points that we're talking about here, they're an even bigger target because you want to eliminate them.
They got to focus on So then Behemoth, they have a focus on damage. So they get that reroll charge roll that Synaptic Lure does, but this is Behemoth.
Right.
That's guaranteed. So they're always going to get a reroll charge, which helps with your command point rerolls to make sure this strategy goes off consistently.
Can I ask you which one you think
It's
in general would be
tough.
better?
It's tough. Next slide, I will actually show you what my preferences are.
Sure.
But yeah, so that's the other way. And then there are some custom Hive Fleets. Again, if this is just for fun, you might want to play with some other Hive Fleets.
Yeah.
So the custom Hive Fleets, again, you pick 2 of these. These are the 3 that I thought were probably best suited for bolstering the strategy. Biometallic Cis is an extra AP to Deciding Talents. Now they have AP -1, which with other stratagems you can get that higher.
Yeah.
But a built-in -1 always is great.
It's not bad.
Pack Hunters. This you can get an extra AP if you outnumber your opponent, and if you have a 20-man blob of Genestealers, even a 10-man.
Yeah.
More often than not, you'll be outnumbering your opponent.
Unless you're playing the obvious armies of Orcs, Guardsmen. Is there anything else that can outnumber them?
Other Tyranids, Genestealer called.
Sure.
Yeah, it's
not too many things that can outnumber a 20-man squad usually.
No, normally not. So the other thing with Pack Hunters, though, is that that applies to their Rending Claws. So now their Rending Claws are AP -2 base, and then if they rend, they're AP -4, 5?
Yeah, 4, I believe.
4, yeah.
To start.
So then you always have the annoying thing with Space Marines where they always get a 6-up save to block your rending hits.
Right.
Now they don't get that.
Interesting. Okay.
The last one I thought that might be good because you're never going to take Biometallic Cyst and Pack Hunters. You're going to take one or the other.
Yeah.
Depending on what the rest of your army is. Cranial Channeling lets you reroll a psychic test, 1 psychic test per psyker per psychic phase. So again, a lot of these things can rely on psychic powers to go off to bolster them to the next level. If you get to reroll a psychic test each time for free, that cuts down on the amount of command points you have to spend to get the strategy going off.
Right. And it's just a lot safer.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So now how I would run them, like we said, you want to have 2 squads of these and kit them out the same way. Extended Carapace, it is more points. It's an extra 2 points a model, so 17 points. You're at 340 points for this squad.
Wow, it's a lot.
680 points, almost half your army.
Sounds like a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
But they can really do work in the durability range and in the offensive range.
Yeah.
So it'll also cost you 1 command point because we're using 2 cases of enhanced resistance.
Right.
Your Broodlord, I think 1 is fine, but you could do 2.
Right.
I would put Onslaught on him because it's the most important psychic power and you're getting that +1 with the Resonance Barb.
Be the most consistent bang for your buck as far as points with him, I would say.
Yep.
Right.
Swarmlord, you got to have him. You could also bring a Neurothrope if you wanted another HQ for getting psychic powers off.
Right.
Both of them are good. It depends. The Neurothrope would be someone who would support your Genestealers and other parts of your army.
Right.
Where the Swarmlord, he's going to be up there basically giving the green light to the Genestealers to charge up, and he's going to be somewhat following them around. Mm-hmm. So option 1, like I said, Behemoth. The Broodlord knows Onslaught, Swarmlord will know Catalyst and Unstoppable Hunger.
Yep.
So he gives all of the pluses to the furthest Genestealer squad.
Right.
The key with Behemoth, again, reroll charges is built in. Top that with your Onslaught and your Catalyst. Yeah, I think this is the one I like, actually.
Really? Okay. Well, what's the second one here?
Kraken, again, your Broodlord knows Onslaught. Your Swarmlord now knows Catalyst and Synaptic Lure.
Right.
So the one interesting thing, Synaptic Lure versus Unstoppable Hunger. We touched on this, but the range on Unstoppable Hunger is only 9 inches.
True.
So you have to be close to it, but it's okay because you should already be close to this squad to give them Hive Commander. Because Hive Commander is only 6-inch range.
True.
Where it only has that one utility of working on the Genestealers or something close to him.
Yeah.
I guess he could cast it on himself anyway.
But also, I think you're right in your assumption with that because these things that he's talking about right now are decisions that are made at the beginning of a game almost always.
Yep.
And since these Genestealers, like these in specific, are usually such a big target, you're only going to be doing this psychic power to them like once or twice before things start to go down.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, really.
So it's not, the range isn't much.
It shouldn't
of a
be too big of a deal.
I don't think.
But with Synaptic Lure, you do have an infinite range. So later on in the game, let's say you charge a Genestealer squad, and now you need another long bomb charge.
Yeah.
You can target another one further off, and they can still get that reroll there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's give and take to both.
The biggest thing that is having me hung up is the fallback in charge, because that can be so big. You could charge a Rhino or something that's up on the objective.
Tie it up.
Surround it, so they would have to either spend command points to leave that tie up.
Yeah.
Or they just stay there. Maybe they get to shoot you on your turn with some Stormbolters or something. But then you can fall back towards the enemy.
Right.
And you can then charge.
Just do it again.
Yeah. And you can get a rerollable charge with Synaptic Lure.
I lean towards Kraken. I think. But it is very close for the record.
It's
I lean
tough.
towards Kraken though. I would say. At least when I fight against you, I fear Kraken the most.
Kraken's so good.
They're frightening.
It's so good. That higher,
It works very well with lists that include Genestealers, the Swarmlord, other things like that.
And do you want a little extra punch or a little extra mobility?
That's the difference, right?
That's the difference. Punch or mobility.
Yep.
All right. Now for a little bit of math hammer to show you just how crazy these things can get. So
let's remember, normally it's a 5-up save. That's it.
It's a 5-up invuln save. That is
5-up
key.
invuln.
5-up invuln. So no matter what hits them, they're always taking that 5-up invuln.
Okay. Yeah.
So, well, it's 5-up armor, 5-up invuln.
That's a good thing to say.
So now they'll have a 4-up save against AP -1 and 2.
Yeah.
And if you're shooting AP -3 at them, they're either plasma guns, which probably would be going somewhere else.
You shouldn't be using plasma guns on them, probably.
I mean, depends on how many you have.
Maybe against these ones.
If you're like Scions and they're full of plasma guns, But other things, if you only got 1 or 2 in a squad, they're probably better suited shooting your other bigger bugs.
Yeah.
So they're ignoring AP minus 1 and 2. If you hit them with AP minus 3, they still have a 5-up interval and save. That doesn't go away.
True.
If you stick them in cover, you get a 3-up save. Enhanced and resistance still stacks on top of cover.
Yeah.
So now you're at a 3-up, ignoring AP minus 1 and 2.
Oof. This is where they can really get some staying power if you use cover correctly.
And yeah, because now it's not the whole squad's in cover or the whole squad's not.
Right.
If half the squad's in cover, you can take those saves on the 3-ups if you need to, or you can take them on the 4-ups and save the 3-ups. Then you can give them a 5-up feel no pain.
Right.
And it gets crazy. So the math hammer you guys see on the screen now is showing the number of hits to kill a whole squad. I threw bolt rifles in there because that's most common, but this math works for any weapon. You're assuming they've already hit you and wounded you. But for anything that's damage 1 and AP minus 1 or 2. So
which is most things. That
which is a lot of things.
Yeah.
And then if you have damage 2 in there, it messes with the feel no pains a lot because it's 2 wounds. You gotta save 5 ups.
Right.
Yeah. But so if you have a 3-up save in cover, it will take 60 hits. Or 60 wounds, I should say. I should change that. 60 wounds in order to wipe out all 20 of them.
Right.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's a lot.
Of wounds.
If you have a 3-up save and a 5-up feel no pain, 90. I don't know many armies that can put out 90 wounds.
Not that many.
Not even hits, but wounds.
Yeah.
So then
Not
if
with
you
one squad at least.
you take a whole chunk of your army.
Yeah.
So now a more likely case for at least one of your squads, they'll have a 4-up save all the time. 40 wounds to go through before you drop all 20 of them.
That's crazy.
And then if you give them that 5 feel no pain, 60 wounds.
Right.
That's crazy. Now the last one you can see, this is your standard Genestealer, the non-bulky version. It only takes 30, which is still a lot. But
it's a significant difference, though.
That's
what we're getting at.
From the potential to, because even if they're in cover and you're using the basic one, you're not going to be getting a 3-up. You're probably not even getting a 4-up. You still have a 5-up, even if they're in cover.
Yep.
So you're in some ways going from 60 to 30 or 90 to 45.
Right. So for these, I mean, you are paying like a premium, essentially, to create these squads, but you are getting something so much more bulky, it's kind of insane.
Yeah, and so we used them. I used them against you.
Yeah.
2 squads of them against
really annoying.
Against your Necrons. And you had a ton of Immortals.
Tesla shots. Gauss shots.
Gauss shots. And they're AP minus 2, right?
Yep.
That normally, all of those shots would have cleaned right through them.
Yeah.
But because I had cover for some of them, and I had feel no pain on at least one squad of them.
Yeah.
They stuck around in combat for a long time.
I would say for an extra 2, maybe 2 or 3 turns because of the investment that was
it was the last Genestealer was killed in turn. I think he was killed in turn 5.
I think it was 2.
It was so, and normally those things are gone by turn 3 if you're
you would have with them. Yeah.
And it's not hard to know to shoot these things that are flying, screaming up the board at you.
I mean, they look scary. So.
And you put a lot of firepower into them.
I did, yeah.
Another thing we didn't touch on, I used, but I totally forgot out of here. If you want to stack this math hammer even crazy, get a Maelstrom or Venom Thropes. Give them -1 for the first turn in case you don't go first.
Yeah.
That would be crazy if you could. Now, you're
investing a lot into them at that point.
If you put a Broodlord, a Swarmlord, both squads, a Maelstrom and or Zone Thropes, it's like 1,300 points.
But that does kind of lead into our final section here, which is the conclusion of if they're...
Are they good? So
fun, competitive, or...
Yeah, the summary, you're paying an extra 2 points per model and a command point, so 13% extra. You lose mobility, but you gain potentially a significant amount of durability.
As we just went through.
My only problem, I feel like the trade-off between the 4-up armor save and losing advanced in charge is not, there shouldn't be points involved. I feel like that's a fair trade-off. Gaining some durability and losing mobility, I think alone is a fair trade-off. I don't think it should be too...
I suppose.
I think, if anything, the extended carapace should be 1 point instead of 2, and Genestealers should go down to 14 points.
And it might not seem like that much of a difference, but it is.
But when you're bringing 40 of them...
Yeah, when you're talking about things being competitive...
every point matters.
Difference,
yeah. If these things went down 2 points a
Yeah.
model and you bring 40 of them, 80 points, that's a whole nother unit.
That's a whole different list you can make, basically, you know?
Yeah, that's a lot you could add to them.
Yeah.
But that's what I think. Have you guys seen this or looked at doing this strategy before? Have you used it? Let us know if you've used it. I want to see what other people have said. We've had good luck with it. But again, we're not going to tournaments.
And it's just for fun, as of right now.
As of right now.
Yeah.
But yep, let us know what you guys think in the comments. Please like, subscribe, and share this video with your other Hive Mind friends. And stay tuned to the next one.
Thanks for watching.